Today we have Alex Denham, a world touring cyclist all the way from Melbourne. Hello, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. First off, why don't you introduce yourselves to our listeners?
My name's Alex, and I'm currently cycling from Amsterdam in the Netherlands all the way back to Melbourne over 2 years. And I've actually got my girlfriend here, Kat, so she can chat too.
Oh, interesting. So you're going to have... So it's not going to be a lonely trip for you cycling all around the world because you have your lovely girlfriend with you. But, you talked about the world tour, but, what is a world... Are you really just, going all over the world?
The idea is to meet the people of the world within the time frame that we had. So given that we only had about 2 years, or that's how long we wanted to have, we decided to slow the trip down and just see the continents of Europe, Asia, and Australia.
Wow! So just 3 continents, huh? So you're not going to go for all Antarctica. 7, right? No Antarctica this time.
Yeah, it's pretty minimalist actually.
Okay.
As far as world tours go.
Right. So what about you mentioned the tour of Asia? What about Korea? What were you doing? I guess specifically in Korea. Did you know anything about Korea before you visited?
Well, the funny thing is, we're actually in Korea because China wouldn't give us a visa.
So we're we got the leftovers, like China's reject parts or something.
Well, no, we've been invited here every month on the first day of the month, pretty much by relatives of Alex who, wanted him to come and wanted us to come and see South Korea and ride South Korea, basically.
So you have to actually get permission, right? That seems like it would be something. What do you have to ask permission for specifically?
No permissions required in South Korea, actually. We pretty much have been invited and welcomed and put out the magical carpet in front of us to ride on. It's China that won't let us ride on its bountiful plains, unfortunately, at the moment.
Surprising. I mean, there's a lot of bicycles in China right now. But, in Korea right now, how long have you been in Korea? What are some of the things you've seen in Korea? What are some of the things that you've been able to enjoy while you were staying in Korea?
So we got in about 2 weeks ago, and we were looked after by some amazing hosts in Seoul.
Songjung and Chihun.
And we rode down the Four Rivers Trail down to Busan and now up to Ulsan, which is where we are currently.
Ulsan, all the way in Ulsan right now.
Yeah.
We've been hanging out with amazing people the whole way. We're amazed by the hospitality of South Koreans. We've been enjoying the food. It's a stark contrast to the basic food of Central Asia. So we're having a really good time.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Now, when you mentioned hanging out and stuff like that. So how much time? I mean, I imagine there's no set schedule, but do you have a goal per day? You want to cover X amount of kilometers per day, or is it just playing it by ear?
Well, it was kind of playing it by ear, but we left Seoul with the idea of getting down to to Ulsan within a week or so, and so it was just as you roll. The last day that we did was about 140 kilometers, but most of the other days were somewhere between 80 and 100. So it was just kind of gentle, easy, fun. We took most of the day. We had long lunch breaks. We met people along the way. It was great.
I can understand, you guys are traveling mostly on, the bicycle and stuff like that. I guess so transportation is not a big deal, but you still have to, catch a plane going from different parts of the country, different countries to another. Does it cost a lot of money to participate in this world tour you guys are doing, or are there some kind of, grants available for you guys?
Well, no grants, and our goal actually was originally to only fly once to Amsterdam from Melbourne and then ride all the way back overland with a boat from Indonesia to Australia. But, China is quite sizable, and the only way to get around her was to fly in another plane. So, but we are funding our own trip entirely with our own life savings.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, let's go back to, I guess I'm kind of curious about the genesis of this whole idea. Where does this come from? I mean, are you all backpackers? Did you backpack together and decide, okay, we want to do this? Were you cyclists? I mean, how did this sort of, whole idea come about, basically?
I'm a cyclist in Australia and do a lot of mountain bike racing, so I've always had an interest in bike riding in particular. But ever since I started backpacking and then someone said, hey, why don't you travel with a bike? That was a light bulb moment in my life. Mm-hmm. So bringing the bike on my first trip was just the most amazing experience because you get to travel at quite low speeds and you get to meet people along the way. It connects all the dots in between the big cities.
Right. There's nothing between you and the world. You get to experience everything. You're not too slow. You're not too fast. It's pretty magic. You've got your entire house with you wherever you go. You've got the potential to meet anyone at any time. It's amazing.
You know what's interesting is, we've had a couple of cyclists on our show before, and, one of the things that popped up, and, we're always curious about the amount of money you guys spend on the bikes, because I know the bicycles aren't any kind of, normal bicycles you'll buy on, like, a typical corner shop. Your bikes, the bikes that you guys use, must be pretty special and pretty expensive as well, right?
That's correct.
There was a pause when you guys said that.
We actually use a tandem bicycle, so we only have one bike between both of us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really, really fast because you've got 4 legs powering 2 wheels. But it also means that it's really expensive because it's so specialist.
Yeah, and Alex is 6'6" and
what?
5'8", so it's a bit of a difference between us. We had to get it all specially made for us and stuff. So.
Wow, is it like, but what about transporting that? I mean, you mentioned that it's the advantages, but there's got to be, I would think, just to take a bike would be a bit kind of cumbersome, and there's a lot of stuff you got to deal with, maybe flats and equipment and things like that. I mean, what are some of the challenges, especially traveling with a tandem bike?
Well, our tandem bike actually breaks into parts. So when we fly, we can reduce it down to quite a small size, smaller than a normal bike.
Yeah, I think co-motion frames have the option where you've got these little couplers. Mm-hmm. And so, we were so surprised when we actually received the bike. The box was so small, we thought, our whole bike can't possibly be in that box.
Right.
But, it was in there. But what are some other challenges? I mean, occasionally we've gone on a train, just for funsies, for kicks and giggles. Mm-hmm. And, people don't like letting bikes on trains in general. And, tandems are definitely no exception.
So I guess considering you guys have a special tandem bike and you could break it apart and stuff and you guys get into a fight, you guys could go separate ways on a unicycle. Is that possible?
No, unfortunately not. But, whether we like it or not, we actually are quite good together. And arguments, not something that happened too frequently, which is great.
World touring on a cycle is on the rise right now. We've been hearing a lot. In fact, there's actually a group that's actually entered North Korea on a world tour on their cycle right now. But, there's got to be some pros and cons. I know there's a lot of things you guys can enjoy as well. But tell us some of the pros and cons of touring on a cycle.
So in terms of negatives, sometimes it'd be great to have less gear. But the fact that we like to cook all our own food and be able to sleep anywhere means that we do have to carry quite a lot.
Yeah, so hauling ass up a hill can be, quite frustrating when that hill is 80 kilometres or 100 kilometres up. And so it's, just a bit of a slog. What else would be a negative? I guess just the ability to meet dates. Like if you have something particular planned, it's a little bit more of a challenge. So, you have to ride a little bit more than you otherwise might have liked. Right. Something might happen and you're like, oh no, I wish we could stay. But I guess the way we travel, we don't really have particular dates that we need to meet. So, we're quite free and easy like
Wouldn't
that.
language barrier be an issue if you're traveling in different parts of the world? It's not like everyone's going to be speaking English, right?
Yeah.
We're very lucky that a lot of the world does have some English, but we do our best as soon as we arrive in a country to learn as much of the local language as we can.
Yeah, well, not like experts or anything, but we try to speak to a local and get at least 30 words or phrases translated for us in the sort of the native tongue, and we have those in the handlebar bag, so which has got a little pocket at the top. Mm-hmm. We can practice them as we're riding, and grill each other on pronunciation and all sorts. Yeah.
I mean, preparation. You have to, obviously a lot of countries are. I guess, accommodate cyclers, and I think Korea is pretty good, I would say. I don't know, I want to get your opinion on that, but how much research did you do as far as, finding trails, and is this someplace that would be, good for us to go and would be, feasible to cycle, this distance? I mean, how much research did you do before picking the, I guess, countries that you wanted to see?
We did do a lot of general research, which was basically going through like travel magazines and going onto travel websites and checking out some of the sites that we really wanted to connect up in the world. And then we've got this massive map with all these dot points of places of interest, and we've just
a little bit like Atlas Obscura, with these crazy places marked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're just trying to connect as many of those up as possible.
But in terms of preparing for Korea, it's we were told a lot about the great cycle routes that were already available to us.
Right.
And people said, "Oh, you can go for a bit more of a challenge up in the north, or you can just cruise along the bike paths, or you can do the little off scoots and that kind of thing." And it's definitely a place that we would recommend people. And tourists, to ride their bikes. Yeah, it's great.
We talked about how there's been a rise of, people kind of actually doing a world touring on cycle. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on our listening to our show right now who are interested in potentially doing the same thing. Any tips for those people who are considering traveling around the world on their bikes?
It's best to invest in some good equipment because basic equipment just doesn't last the distance, and we've found that out the hard way. So invest as much money as you can into good equipment if your budget allows. Be really flexible if you can, because the more flexible you are, the more you can see and experience along the way and take opportunity of.
Probably being really easy on yourself, like having expectations that are, as much fun as possible, yes, but also, a manageable distance, maybe starting somewhere where it's a little bit more bike-friendly like we did in Amsterdam.
Right.
I don't know, like, it's a lot of mental game, really. Like, if you believe that you can do it, then you can, and we've had that tested again and again, a challenging day, and it really ends up being your attitude towards it that gets you through, along with actually having a good quality wheel that doesn't break spokes every now and again.
I guess it helps that you two guys are actually traveling together, because, there must be times where it's like, not physically, challenging, but mentally challenging as well, traveling all those distance on bike, and it's, a lot of work, but at the same time to be, accountable for each other. That must be a great deal of help for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if one of us is having a bad day, then the other can pep the other up, and we know we're in this together, so we really rely on each other.
And also, I think in terms of people out there who are thinking of doing a bike tour, our experience of riding together has been one that's really fortifying. Our relationship has changed, yes, but in a much better and stronger, more understanding way, and it also makes you more approachable, more open to different people, new experiences, that kind of thing. And if you have the opportunity to do a bit of a tour with a whole bunch of people, especially in Korea, jump on it. Like,
right.
It's heaps of fun riding in a clan.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I thought, nowadays with technology and, something like this that is such would be such a bonding experience and deep memories. Are you documenting? Are you making any kind of I don't want to say like a film or anything, but what are you doing to sort of document this, because this is something that not everybody does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
We actually have a website which has a lot of information on how you can do your own tour. But for every country that we travel to, Kat writes a really, really big diary of our experiences, and we add in all of our best photos.
Yeah, photo journals. But our main thing is kind of making short films, which we've been doing since about Croatia onwards, and they've been like micro stories or a macro view of a whole country, or they kind of range from sentimental stuff to documentary styles, and I don't know, we've had so much fun documenting the process, and it's almost an essential part of every tour now. Like you kind of know people via their website. Like we meet people and they're like, oh yeah, we know you, you're the tandem tennis. Like, oh yeah, we know you, you're cycling about. And we're like, oh my god, awesome.
Is that weird? Or like you said, is there like expectation now when you don't want to do your blog entry or diary, that people are reading it, so you feel kind of obligated to do it? Or how does that change? Isn't it interesting that people are following you and reading and following up on your experiences?
It's magical.
I think like the reason we do the videos and diaries is for us in particular, but then it kind of filters down to friends and family, and then the followers last. So
where can we follow up on you guys on the website? I mean, what is the address on your blog?
It's cyclingabout.com.
Oh, easy. Cyclingabout.com. You know what? We are running out of time, guys, but before we do let you go, what's your next destination? What is your future goal right now when it comes to cycling?
Our next destination is Japan.
Oh, right. You guys cycle over by boat, right?
Pardon?
You got to take the boat, right? You can't cycle on...
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We haven't invented the tandem paddle yet. But I think our future goal is just to get even more immersed in the cultures that we get in, and I don't know, what do you reckon, Alex?
We're just really excited to be seeing the world, really.
Yeah, it's magic.
All right, there you have it. You know what? It's good to see you guys, of course, traveling together on the bike. And hopefully, when you guys are traveling around the world, I hope it's a safe trip as well, because it's a long distance. And we hope to catch up with you. I'm definitely going to go onto your website to check you guys on and see, what kind of updates you guys have on the visit. Thank you very much for joining us on the show, guys.
Thanks so much.
All right, there you have it. That was Alex Denham and his lovely girlfriend. I believe her name was Kat, traveling around the world on their tandem bikes. It's going to be interesting. Best of luck to them on their future trips all around the world. And that is going to wrap it up. But we have more Sports Weekend coming up next.